Hello guys, this is Doran's Movies, and today I'll be giving you the lore of the Black Empire, one of the first primordial civilizations on the world of Azeroth, ruled by the old gods. So, without further ado, let's get into the lore. Thousands of years ago, the old gods, manifestations of the Void Lords, plummeted into Azeroth. They had a goal to corrupt the nascent world soul, and soon enough their corruptive influence spread across the entire land. From their organic matter, two new distinct races were created, the cunning and the intelligent Enraki, known as the Faceless Ones, and the Akir, insectoid creatures of incredible strength and resilience. Both of them were fanatical servants of the old gods, and while the Enraki worked as taskmasters, the Akir were laborers, building massive citadels and temple cities around the bulk of the old gods. The greatest of these bastions was built around Y'Shaarj, who is the most powerful old god. Eventually, the territory of Y'Shaarj would unite along with the other old god domains, and soon enough a new force would be created, known as the Black Empire. This new influence threatened the elemental lords who had previously ruled the world, but they constantly warred with each other. For the first time ever in history, the elemental lords united and waged war upon the Black Empire. Initially, they were very successful. Al-Akir and Ragnaros united, creating cyclones of flame, while Terrazane and Neptulon crushed the old god forces with stone and the fury of the seas. Yet, despite their success, the Black Empire could not be toppled. No matter how many Enraki and Akir they killed, more and more would constantly spawn from the old god forms, and soon enough they were completely overwhelmed and the elementals fell. In the end, the elemental lords were defeated and enslaved, and now without any resistance left, the Black Empire ruled over most of Azeroth as twilight descended and the world spiraled into an abyss. Meanwhile, the Titan Agramar had traveled the Grey Dark Beyond, eventually encountering the world of Azeroth. He sensed that the world soul was so strong, unlike anything he had ever seen before, yet as he approached, horror seized him as he saw a land shrouded in void energies. By some unknown miracle, the world soul had not been corrupted yet, but Agramar knew it was only a matter of time, so with haste he contacted the Pantheon and they realized the potential of this new world. Not only could this new titan be the strongest there ever was, even stronger than Sergeras, but he was also one of their own kin and they couldn't just abandon other titans. The Pantheon agreed to purge the Black Empire, and soon enough they prepared for war as they traveled to the world of Azeroth. However, as they arrived, they realized that they cannot take action directly as they feared their colossal forms would damage the world soul. Instead, they decided to create constructs that would serve as the hands of the Pantheon and fight the Black Empire. Under the guidance of the Titan Khaz'goroth, an army was crafted from the very crust of Azeroth itself, known as the Titan Forged. They consisted of the Aesir and the Vanir, the Aesir being fashioned from metal and commanding powers of the storms, while the Vanir were formed from stone and would have sway over earth. Alongside just the regular army, a few other servants, known as the Keepers, were imbued by the Pantheon directly in order to lead the rest of the Titan Forged. Now, with everything set, the Pantheon waged war upon the Black Empire. Led by the Keepers, the Titan Forge first attacked the North Province, completely destroying legions of Enraki and the Akir while sundering their temple cities. The old gods were caught completely off guard, and in response they called upon their greatest lieutenants, the Elemental Lords. The Titan Forge were concerned as they knew how powerful a unified elemental army is, so they decided to split their own forces and dispatch separate groups to fight specific elemental lords. Tyr and Odin fought the strongest of the elementals, Ragnaros the Fire Lord. Meanwhile, Arcturus and Freya focused upon Terrazane, while Ra, Thorim and Hodir waged war with Al'Akir. They were defeated one by one, and Neptulon, the last elemental lord, rushed to help, but he was outmaneuvered by Loken and Mimiron. As the elementals fell, the Titan Forge sorceress Helia imprisoned them and their servants in a pocket dimension with 4 interlinked domains known as the Elemental Plane. Now the Titan Forged, happy with the success thus far, focused their entire power on the heart of the Black Empire, the temple city built around the strongest of the old gods, Y'Shaarj. They tore through the ranks of Enraki, but Y'Shaarj was far more powerful than they had expected, as he poisoned the minds of the Titan Forged, drawing out their fears. The Titan Amantul was concerned that they might actually lose the battle and even the entire world, so he reached down through the skies of Azeroth himself, and with his mighty arm, he tore the old god from the crust of the world. This resulted in Y'Shaarj's gargantuan bulk being completely ripped apart, obliterating hundreds of Titan Forged, and worst of all, he was rooted so deeply into the world that the actual World Soul Titan was damaged, creating a scar filled with volatile, arcane energy. This wound would later be cauterized, and the Well of Eternity would be created. The Pantheon now fully realized that they will need to imprison the rest of the old gods in order to not actually destroy Azeroth itself. With their new plan, the Titan Forge continued, and N'Zoth and Khadun were next. They were quickly overwhelmed and imprisoned beneath the earth in magical chambers. The Pantheon was now so close to complete victory, and the remaining part of the Black Empire was controlled by the old god, Yogg-Saron. The capture of Yogg-Saron turned out to not be such an easy task, as he unleashed his greatest generals, known as the Cathraxi. Cathraxi were monstrous warbringers, much larger and stronger than the rest of the Enraki. These generals whipped the remnants of the Black Empire into a frenzy and surrounded and completely obliterated the ranks of the Titan Forged. The Titan Forged were now completely discouraged, and they thought they would actually lose the battle, but the Keeper Odin led them to victory as he ordered Loken to create an illusion that forced the Cathraxi to see themselves and even Yogg-Saron as their enemies. While the Black Empire was turning on itself, Odin swooped in and cut down the confused foes one by one, which later resulted in the capture of Yogg-Saron. The Black Empire fell, the Elemental Lords, Old Gods, and their servants were defeated and captured, and the only remnants of this previous scourge of the world were the Akir, who dug so deeply underground that the Keepers just weren't able to reach them. These Akir would later form a new empire known as Azyakir, but for now, the threat was no more. The Keepers focused on nurturing the World Soul, repairing and rebuilding the world, creating peace for the first time in the history of Azeroth. Alright, and that is all I have for this video. Now, do leave your suggestions on what you would like to see next, and also don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, as it really helps out and keeps all the videos going. Thanks a lot for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and see you next time.